The Indus River, a lifeline for millions in Asia. Crossing from India to Pakistan, also through Kashmir, a region these two countries have fought over. Even during their wars, these waters of the Indus have continued to flow. But now, something's changing.
अब भारत का पानी भारत के हक में बहेगा.
Any attempt to stop the flow of water belonging to Pakistan would be responded to with full force and might.
India is threatening to cut off water to Pakistan.
This would do far more damage than an armed attack.
So can the Indus River go from a lifeline to a weapon? The Indus starts in China, high on the Tibetan plateau. From there, it crosses into the disputed region of Kashmir, first into territories administered by India, and then into lands administered by Pakistan. The river meanders through the plains of Pakistan, where it's joined by 5 tributary rivers. The combined flow ends its long journey in the Arabian Sea. Together, these rivers make up the Indus River system. That's what we mean when we talk about the Indus in our story. So as you can see, all waters of the Indus flow from India or Indian-administered territories before reaching Pakistan. And for downstream Pakistan, the Indus is everything, the main source of water. It supports 90% of food production in the country and powers all of Pakistan's hydroelectric plants. Almost all of Pakistan's population lives in the Indus River basin. Of course, India also needs water from the Indus. It powers hydroelectric plants and waters thirsty agricultural land in India's northwest. It also has a spiritual meaning. Many Indians revere the Indus as a symbol of purity, life, and spiritual revival. A pilgrimage to its banks is a holy journey. But for this worshipper, it also has political importance. And that has a lot to do with the two countries fighting for Kashmir. On April 22nd, 2025, here in Pahalgam, in the part administered by India, 26 civilians were killed in an attack. All but one were male Hindu tourists. India accused Pakistan of supporting the perpetrators, labelling the attack cross-border terrorism, as it has for other incidents in the past. Pakistan has denied these accusations. But things escalated fast between the two states. India struck what it called terrorist infrastructure inside Pakistan. Pakistan activated its air defense and also responded with heavy artillery. Both sides carried out drone and missile attacks for 4 days. Bear in mind that these countries have some of the world's biggest militaries, and both have nuclear weapons. But India did something else too. It suspended a key treaty with Pakistan regulating the use of water from the Indus River.
With immediate effect.
It's called the Indus Waters Treaty, and it was signed in 1960.
The IWT was one of the last sort of thing which at least looked at India and Pakistan can cooperate. Now they don't have anything.
Amit Ranjan is an Indian expert in water disputes in South Asia.
I believe that India has politicized the water, and it is using water as political tool to fight against Pakistan.
India symbolically closed some dams on Indus tributaries during the most recent clashes. But so far, it's actually not able to completely cut off Pakistan's water. We'll come back to that later. Yet even threats to do so in the future have caused anger in Pakistan and a strong rebuttal.
Blatant violation of the treaty, which clearly amounts to an act of war.
Cutting off the water to a population which is so dependent on water, such as Pakistan, would do far more damage than an armed attack.
Aisha Malik is a Pakistani lawyer specializing in armed conflicts and climate change.
I think that it could be very likely that Pakistan would feel an existential threat.
For now, a ceasefire has stopped the latest fighting that broke out following the attack in Pahalgam. But India is still threatening to stop this river from flowing after suspending the Indus Waters Treaty.
भारत का मत एकदम स्पष्ट है। टेरर और टॉप एक साथ नहीं हो सकते। टेरर और ट्रेड एक साथ नहीं चल सकते। और पानी और खून भी एक साथ नहीं बह सकता।
But how did the unique Indus Treaty come about in the first place? Let's look back to a time when India was still part of the British Empire. Back then, what is today Pakistan was still part of India. So after the Indus entered India, it had no more international borders to cross. When the British left in 1947, they hastily divided up their former colony along religious lines. The majority Hindu states became India. The majority Muslim states became West Pakistan and East Pakistan. East Pakistan later separated and became Bangladesh, while West Pakistan became what is today Pakistan. Let's look at the border between India and today's Pakistan. Two things proved particularly hard to divide here: Kashmir and the Indus. Over Kashmir, India and Pakistan went to war. The region remains disputed to this day. Over the Indus, India and Pakistan argued about water rights. In 1948, India temporarily cut off water on some channels flowing into Pakistan. It was clear the Indus needed a deal. The World Bank stepped in and brokered negotiations. It still took India and Pakistan 9 years to agree, but in 1960, they finally signed the Indus Waters Treaty. They agreed to cooperate in a spirit of goodwill and friendship on the Indus. The treaty said that the water from the 3 eastern rivers would be allocated to India, and the water from the larger 3 western rivers to Pakistan. Overall, 80% of Indus waters were allocated to Pakistan. The western rivers of the Indus run through the disputed territory of Kashmir. Yet the Indus Waters Treaty is deliberately silent on the issue.
The Indus Waters Treaty was fantastic in the sense that it completely separated those two issues. It does not even mention the words Kashmir. That is exactly why it's lasted for such a long time.
The treaty survived 6 decades and multiple wars between India and Pakistan, including over Kashmir. So what has changed to bring the Indus into this conflict? Let's come back to Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He first threatened to cut off water to Pakistan in 2016. That was after an attack on Indian troops in Kashmir, which India blamed on Pakistan.
The previous government, they have never linked this water issue with the security issue.
Under Modi, relations between India and Pakistan deteriorated. Meanwhile, Pakistan became much closer to China. Pakistan and China cooperate politically. including on the Indus River in Pakistan, where China is investing heavily in hydropower projects. India is really not happy about this friendship because it sees it as a challenge to its own regional influence. If you want to learn more about that, check out our episode on the rivalry between China and India. But something bigger than politics is changing as well. The climate.
The heat wave that I'm currently undergoing is one of the main indicators of that. Temperatures go as high as 50 degrees in April, perhaps uninhabitable temperatures in the future.
Climate change is also affecting the Indus. It's disrupting rainfall patterns, and now that heavier rains are more frequent, causing floods and killing crops. Yet drought is also common.
The impact of climate change, increasing population, growing demand of water, increase countries going for clean energy. So everyone needs more and more water.
That's why India has been asking Pakistan to renegotiate the treaty. Pakistan has in the past resisted new negotiations, fearing loss of water. So back to the question, can India really cut off the Indus? For the moment, no.
You need big infrastructure. That India doesn't have at least now. And suppose if India starts preparing, India starts building the infrastructure, it will take time. It may take a decade or even more.
There are numerous hydropower plants and dams built on the Indus already. Here are some of them. But the Indus Waters Treaty has put strict limits on their capacities, and the two parties have kept tabs on each other's projects in meetings of the Permanent Indus Commission, like here in 2017. Now, with the treaty's suspension, India closed some of its dams. Like this one, Baglihar Dam. But when this dam is closed, the small reservoir behind it fills up fast. So the dam had to be opened again a few days later to release the water. So what is next for the Indus? Pakistan wants international mediation to get India to stick to the treaty.
So I think the best bet in terms of the chances for cooperation going up is international community involvement.
But India, as the upstream country, knows it has a stronger hand to play.
I don't think India is going to accept any mediation from any country. So that will become a more problem for Pakistan.
But playing a zero-sum game over water could backfire on India. It has leverage over Pakistan on the Indus. But it's vulnerable on another important river. Because on the Brahmaputra, India is a downstream country, and China, Pakistan's ally, controls the upstream. China is planning to build the world's largest hydroelectric dam on that river, right before it enters India.
Given the scarcity of the resource, given climate change, I do think that these will be the wars of the future, and perhaps India and Pakistan will be at the forefront of seeing that as an existential threat.
With the Indus Waters Treaty, the two countries showed the world how to cooperate over water, even when all else fails. Yet the spirit of goodwill promised in the treaty has faded. For the millions dependent on the Indus, that spirit must urgently be rekindled.